Some time ago, I heard a story, and it was a simple man was sitting on his simple terrace in his simple and modest house with a nice, simple cup of tea in his hand. When suddenly a very big, expensive car pulled up outside his simple little house, looking for directions. I hastily added, it was a long time ago, so he didn't have the Google map that we all have now. I didn't want anyone saying, why didn't we use Google? The simple man walked to the gate of the simple garden of his simple house, put down his simple cup of tea, and he admired the amazing looking car, beautiful looking car. Could have been anything, I wouldn't know. Could have been a Bentley, Jag, Rolls Royce, Maserati, something like that. No, not Maserati, doesn't look like a Rolls Royce, but you get the idea. It was a very expensive car. He said to the man in the car, who wasn't as simple as him, that's an incredibly expensive looking car. And the car owner in the magnificent car said, if you really worked hard, you could build up a big business, earn lots of money, and buy a car like this, and have a big house with 5 bedrooms and 10 bathrooms, so each bedroom would have 2 bathrooms, in case there were 2 people sleeping in the 1 bedroom. And then you'd have all this wonderful wealth, this big house, big car, big garden, swimming pool, everything. And you'd have worked really hard. You'd be fairly worn out after all the work to do all this. You could sit under your magnificent porch with a nice cup of tea in your hand. And the simple man said, I'm doing that right now. Now you've all heard that story. And yet we struggle to be that simple person. And it's not easy. The simple man knew that happiness and fulfillment can come from ordinary moments, very simple little moments in your life. And they're not always dependent on material possessions. He knows in all his simplicity how to have the joy of a grateful heart. He believed life is really simple. But however, we insist on making it complicated. Now I know that sounds a bit smug, and also I'm one of the people who makes it complicated. I don't live a simple life. So the simple man is not me. Just in case you thought it was. Definitely not me. But I admire him. Paulo Coelho, the Brazilian novelist and lyricist, said, it's the simple things in life that are the most extraordinary. What a profound, but yet obvious thing to say. And yet, at times, we can never quite reach that essence of simplicity in our life. It is said that Vincent van Gogh, Americans say Van Gogh, I don't know why I'm saying it, Vincent van Gogh, talked to too many Americans. Vincent van Gogh said, great things are done by a series of small things brought together. Great things are done by a series of small things brought together. Isn't that beautiful? And yet, he, in many ways, couldn't achieve that himself. He found the world too painful to stay in. Brian sings that beautiful song about Vincent regularly here in the church, and we all love it, with the most heartbreaking line, "This world was never meant for one as beautiful as you." The tragedy for many of us, I think, it takes years to discover the sweet, simple things of life, which are the real things. Like, you don't need too many things. I've too many things. I don't know where most of them are. And as I grow older, I pay less attention to the promises of politicians. Years ago, I used to watch elections. I'd stay up all night watching who won Brighton East. And then when that was over, watch the Irish elections, who won North Tipperary. And it really concerned me, because I was obsessed with they were going to change the world. And it took me a long time to realize it never really happens. Sadly, their jobs seem to prove that their opponent is devious and can't deliver. I often feel that that tension at that level permeates down and really doesn't reflect the desires of ordinary folk, who don't really think in terms like that. They prefer to go to a football match, or watch Strictly, or go out for a meal, or just do simple things. What do we really want out of life is a huge question to ask ourselves. And as Christians, gathered in a Christian church, well, I'm afraid, as people gathered in a Christian church, I can't assume that everybody would describe themselves as specifically Christian. But as people gathered in an inclusive church, at the heart of our faith is the belief that contentment over material wealth, focusing on relationships, and being of good character, and living with good intentions are at the heart of our possible happiness. Jesus preached that life does not consist in an abundance of possessions, and he had very little. Do we seek wealth? Do we want to see it everywhere in the world? I do. I'm not going to now. I've passed that idea. Do we want fame? Do we want possessions? I've already said I've too many. They're not very valuable, so that's why I don't know where they are. And if so, why? Why? Is it psychological? Is it a psychological need? And pressure from our contemporaries. I have a collection of lead soldiers. Maybe most of you won't remember lead soldiers. Lead soldiers, I started collecting them when I was 12, and I haven't been able to stop. I'm a lead soldier addict. I've outed myself now. And I've easily, I'd say, close to possibly, I'd say close to probably 1,000 little lead soldiers. And myself and Isabella were having a meal and drinks with people during the week, and we were talking about where things might go when we pass on. Die is another word for pass on. And I said, I was really worried about my lead soldier collection. And Isabella said, we'll go on the skip with everything else. I said, it'll what? Well, I'm going on the skip with them now. So I really lay in bed all night thinking, who can I leave them to that won't break them up? My nephew Carl in New York, he did, because he's got 3 apartments. He'll definitely put them in one apartment. And so, as you can see, I'm not that simple man sitting on the simple whatever. However, I'm not saying we shouldn't be ambitious and seek what's best for us and what's best for our families. And yet, sometimes we miss the concept of the simple pleasure of a walk in the country or along the lagging towpath. I love walking on the lagging towpath, and yet I know I don't do it enough. I don't make time to do it. And yet I miss it. I'm sad that I don't do it. The pleasure of a good book. And only you, as we learned from our book club, individually can be the arbitrator of what a good book is. Brendan Bean used to say, give me a good book, a bottle of whiskey, and a comfortable chair, and you can keep the book. But it is the joy of reading. In our book club, you see that people actually get incredible joy from reading. And maybe, by the way, we shouldn't be overcritical when we see people on their phone all the time. They may be reading, I don't know, Shakespeare, whatever. Maybe they're reading the newspapers. But it might be now the contemporary simple joy of reading, but on your phone or whatever. And even looking forward to your favorite TV show or drama. And thank God we've got the BBC drama department that still turns out wonderful drama. The only difference is now I have to put the subs on. And I blame the actors. They're not properly trained. For me, one of the most simple things that I love is a visit to the QFT. Do we all know the QFT? Up hands those who know the QFT. Up hands those who love the QFT. Isn't it wonderful? Aren't we blessed in Belfast to have that great little cinema where you can go in, you can even have a glass of wine or a cup of coffee, or a cup of coffee and a glass of wine, and then it's so atmospheric, and yet it's one of the most simple things you can do, and it's very reasonably priced. That wonderful little cinema, the QFT, full of ambience. And then, from our own church here, our wonderful bus trips. Please take note, Carol. It has given an opportunity to share time together, to share stories together, and of course gin and tonic. To visit historic sites and have their history brought back to us by a good historian or a convincing storyteller. They've been wonderful, and yet a very simple thing to do. Not for the organiser, of course, but for the rest of us. I think the profoundness of a simple life is making time for it. To manage to create space by eliminating excess and distraction. Oh, I have a very important meeting at 4 o'clock, and then I have another important meeting at 5 o'clock, and then I have a very important meeting this evening at 10 o'clock. No, 10 o'clock's too late, say 9 o'clock. And we think they all matter, and they really sometimes don't add up to anything. Maybe I realize that there are things I can't fix in the world anymore. That are a lot bigger than me, and there's really, you can be concerned about them, but we're not in a position to fix them. So fix the things you can fix. Maybe, another thing, maybe the status quo is not the worst thing. Maybe these are the best times in our life. It doesn't get any better. But sometimes we never give that credit. Don't be in such a hurry to change too many things. You might be disappointed. The enchanting words of that Lennon and McCartney song, "Let it be." And when the night is cloudy and there's still a light that shines on me, shining onto tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. Such profound words from two wonderful Liverpool lads that informed us, not only in music, as Norman spoke about earlier on, and that was wonderful, Norman. We see ourselves, many of us, as grown up with the Beatles sound and learning all their songs, and particularly that one, making an impact on us. Let it be. And yet we didn't let it be. And we didn't listen to Mother Mary, never mind our own mothers. Akin to the Buddhist teaching that if you desire something intensely, you should let it go. Let go of the obsessive feeling, and it will more likely happen. But if it doesn't happen, that's not the end of the world. Is that true? I think there's a strong element of truth in that Buddhist expression, or that Buddhist teaching. Sometimes when we see a new gadget advertised on television, we go insane until we get it. And then we use it once or twice. And that's it, we don't even remember where we put it. I know I put them all